Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm going to talk about flashbangs today, just how to use them and how they work. So to start off with the basics here, let's just see how far away you have to turn to not get blind. So I'm going to throw it in the same spot every time here. So 180, you don't get blind. 90 degrees, you don't get blind. We'll cut that in half again. 45 degrees. So 45 degrees you get blind. So let's see exactly when we don't get blind. So it's in between 45 and 90. And it's a little bit after the 60 degrees. So right here I should get blind, yeah. So it's in between this gap right here. So to flash someone, they need to be looking in this FOV. It needs to be in his field of view within like 60 degrees. So if it's above his head, straight above his head, and he's looking headshot level, it shouldn't get him. Because he would have to be looking in the air of that 60 degrees and getting him like this. Because if you're looking headshot level, that's 90 degrees away from straight up and down. So, knowing that, your enemy, you have to think about where your enemy is looking when you're trying to flash them. And a flash that people like to do a lot, and I cringe at it every time I see it, and a lot of ESEA puggers even do it, and they're even the more serious ones because they're paying for the system and they're a little bit more competitive. They throw this deep flash over B, retaking it as a counter-terrorist. They're just kind of running, and they throw it like that. If you see where that explodes, I'm just throwing nades so you see where they explode, they don't blind me. That's going to explode right over top of the big box. And you think that'd be good? A lot of people think it'd be good. But it won't get this guy at all, because it's right above him. If he's looking headshot level, not blinding him at all. It's not going to blind this guy, because if you're thinking about where your enemy is looking, he's not going to be looking this way. He's going to be looking at the door or window. This window guy is going to be looking at the window. So this flash is really getting no one at all. The only person it's going to get is if someone's deep tunnels and isn't peeking over it and is not seeing it float for a million days. But if anyone's peeking like this, he's going to see it, oh, la-di-da, boom. He's going to have so much time to either just tuck or turn away completely. So, and even this guy is going to see it come over. So that's a really bad flash. And what you're going to want to do to make sure that you are throwing a good one is throw a pop flash. And what a pop flash is that your enemy is not going to have time to react to it, and it's just going to explode right on their screen. So keeping that in mind, and also where your enemy's eyes are looking. So to flash this guy, your flashbang is going to want to be, in this general area right here, and it's going to want to be a pop flash so that they have no time to turn away from it. And a lot of the times you can't pop flash yourself, and you're going to want to have your teammate pop flash you. So in this scenario here, if you want to have your teammate pop flash you, or you want to pop flash your friend in, you can just come further back and flash through the window like this. I'll show you it with a nade here. Just right like that. And this guy's gonna have no time to react, and it's in his FOV. He's gonna get blind. It's gonna pop flash this guy because he's staring right into it, and it's gonna get a guy that's even looking window right here. So that flash is really good because none of the terrorists or none of the person that are in B are gonna have time to react to that, and that's really the key. And like I said, a lot of the time you can't pop flash yourself perfectly, but you can always throw some flashes, and I'll give one example here before I switch to Inferno and talk about flashes a little bit more. But here's an example of where you can run in with a flashbang and it's still very effective, other than throwing this really bad one and trying to go in on it. That's not going to blind anyone that's looking at the window. So this one here, if you just want to throw it right off that right there, and you can actually run in with it. It's just going to pop right above you. And like I said before, flashes that are right above you aren't going to get you. So if you run in with it, the good thing about that, let's say a guy's right here, he sees the flash coming, and he has one of two things. He can stare at it and eat the flash and get blind, or he's going to turn away while it's still like floating in the air. Which is good because you're going to run in with it. So it's going to look like this. So the guy has two options. Stare at it while you run in and take the flash, get blind, or he's going to turn away, which is going to give you time to shoot him in the back. So that's kind of a win-win flashbang that you can throw for yourself. It's still very effective rather than throwing a bad one over the wall. So I'm going to switch to Inferno now, talk about more situations. And another example of the flashbang where you can run out with it, like the Dust 2 one going into B site, is if you throw it behind you or on top of something that you can peek with. So let's say we're playing Moto Pit here, and they're coming up archway. Instead of throwing a flash, a really bad one like this, you can't peek with it. They're gonna have a million seconds to turn away from it, and they're probably not gonna be flashed. So one that you can peek with is just right on top of the library there, and you can swing out. The good thing about that is if they don't turn away and shoot you, they're gonna get blind, and if they turn away, they're gonna be showing their back to you. So it's just the same scenario as that Dust 2 flash, and you can do this in a lot of the spots. So let's say we're coming up here, you flash like that, you can just swing out with it, and you're not going to get blind since it's behind you. So that's another way to use the flashbangs. So like I said before, pop flashing is really the key to flashing, and I would recommend, if you don't have a pop flash, to just not even pull out a flashbang, because a lot of the times people will get caught with their pants down and they're up here at mid trying to throw a flashbang or something, and then they just get straight up peeked. So I think gunning out is very important. Just if you can't throw a really good flash, just hold your gun out, so if someone peeks you, you can shoot back. And I'll give you some examples here of how to flash. So if you're flashing your teammate and you want to pop flash mid, you can just come here, barrel, aim a little bit above the clouds. I'll just throw a nade here so you can see it, and that'll pop flash middle. And you can also throw another flash if you want to run with it yourself. So this is a single guy flash. Just run it like that, and you can run up with it, and that's a good pop flash. And the key to pop flashing is that whoever is getting the flash for them needs to be close enough to the wall so that they can react to the flash and capitalize on the enemy being blind for as long as possible. So if you're back here flashing for your teammate, you don't want your teammate like right here, the flash go off and then he runs up. You want your teammate right here, so as soon as the flash goes off and you hear it, as soon as he hears the boom, then he can swing out and react on it really fast. So that's another key thing. Another thing that I noticed in Go compared to Source is that counter flashing is overrated. And I'll just give you an example of what I mean. So let's say we're holding this orange spot right here, and they're throwing some flashes over, or you're hearing them all rush. You really can't throw a good flash here that they can't juke. So when people like start hearing them running, they're like, oh, I'm gonna flash. These are really bad flashes. Like, they're gonna see that coming, they're gonna hear it coming, they're gonna be able to turn away from it, or they're just gonna wait a second and then come in right after it. And for you to think that they are blind, sometimes it gets you killed because you're maybe taking your time more. So in this spot here, counter flashing is almost useless. You just want to gun out and just worry about shooting them and have your teammate flash for you. All of the time, if you're gonna hold a counter flash, you're gonna want to make sure your teammate's doing it and that they're throwing a good pop flash and he's already holding it before the execution happens, because taking a flashbang out takes a lot longer in this game compared to Source. So let's say, even if they're coming up porch here and you're starting to hear them, a lot of times it's better just to gun out and just fight, rather than, you know, oh, I have one flashbang left, I have to use it, and a lot of times it's just a really bad flash anyways. So don't be afraid to use your flashes early in the round to just get map control as a counter-terrorist, and when the team executes, that you just gun out the entire time. So just to recap here real quick, when you're flashing someone, you just need to understand and think about where your enemy's eyes are going to be looking at so that you can properly flash them, and to always try to work on pop flashing your enemy, whether it be you pop flashing for your teammate or you trying to find out one of those good flashes that you can run with yourself and capitalize on. So thanks for watching, guys. Follow us on the social media below and the read more on YouTube. Thanks, guys.